Our guest's family has long owned and operated a kart racing shop, which sparked his interest when he was put behind the wheel of a kart at the age of 8. In 1997, he competed in his first national event at Rockingham Speedway down in North Carolina, finishing 13th. He scored 18 national event wins, 13 poles, and 45 top 5 finishes in 81 national starts during his kart career. But he has really made a name for himself in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour as a 3-time champion, 2018, 20, and 21. In 210 modified starts, he's collected 40 wins, 30 poles. We are joined tonight on the show by Justin Bonsignore. Justin, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. So, first question right out of the gate, I like to ask all our guests, how did you catch the racing bug?
Well, like you said, my my dad and his brothers raced go-karts. They were first-generation racers, but they got into it pretty heavily and owned and operated a karting business. My dad handled the parts side of things, and my cousin Kyle's dad, Bill, was the engine builder. Very successful company they operated. And then my youngest brother, Frank, who's on Tyler Reddick's team now, he came along a few years later, and they all started racing. So a long history there. My parents met through racing, and it was part of the family. We got into go-kart racing at a young age, me, my cousin, my brothers. We traveled up and down the East Coast with it as much as we could with the WKA karting series, and did a lot of national events all over the place, and really made a lot of friends and had a lot of fun back in those days traveling with your dad and your family everywhere. 40
wins in the Whelen Mod Tour. Obviously, you run a lot up in the Northeast, more or less, but you've traveled enough and a lot. Which maybe one particular win or a series of the wins has stuck out to you, maybe a favorite?
Oh, they're all so tough to win, so they're all really cool in their own ways. But I think the first New Hampshire win was really special back in 2016. I had struggled there with a lot of engine failures over the years, and it just never really felt like I clicked and understood what I needed to do to run up front and lead laps and contend. And we went up there that year with a really fast car and led a majority of the race, and was just really on offense all day, and just had a car that could do basically anything. And it still comes down to a green-white checkered, and we hold off Silk for the win there that year. So that was really special. But like I said, they're all special in their own ways. It's a tough series, a lot of really good drivers and teams, and anytime you can win them, they're definitely tough. So we try to enjoy each one of them.
So, Justin, when you before you started racing on the tour, you were racing more locally, right? What tracks were you starting at, and how'd you like them?
Yeah, so right from go-karts, I went to a Charger car at Riverhead Raceway, which is kind of like a limited late model. I ran that for a year. My dad's brother Frank, my uncle, was crew chief, and we did that for a year, but it only paid like $105 to win, and it just didn't make sense. We felt financially to continue with that, and we were fortunate enough to get a pretty good sponsor to help us out with things at the time, and jumped right into a full-blown tour mod the second year in 2006, and raced that at Riverhead predominantly. We traveled to Evergreen Speedway out in Pennsylvania usually once or twice a year for a few years, and then it was 2009 that family team, we were kind of just about out of money and not really racing every week and running part-time. I'd actually gone back and started racing go-karts nationally a little bit, and got a sponsor to run the Riverhead Tour race that year, and ended up finishing fourth. And lo and behold, Ken Massa was in the grandstands that night, and we got connected through a mutual partner, and we met a couple times, and since then we've been together. So it's kind of a crazy story, and now we're just finished our 14th full-time season together. It's pretty special.
The crazy thing is Riverhead Speedway. I'll break down my impression on it. I've only been there a couple times. Such an intimidating place. I mean, you drive down the street and the first thing you see is this giant Indian sitting there, and I swear the thing's cursing you. It's like, because I went in there, I was cursed. And then everything, the whole place is paved. The grass is paved. The stands are paved. You know what I mean? And all you guys who race down Riverhead weekly, I got a ton of respect for, because it's not an easy track to get around. And I'm always impressed with those guys. But, once you met Ken Massa there and you got with the team you're with, right, things really started looking up. I mean, you guys really started putting it together. What's it like having a team like that working with you? And how much easier as a driver does that make you? Because, it's not all on you then at that point. You got other guys to lean on.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that about Riverhead. I never really thought of it that way, but I'm sure.
Oh, you got a giant Indian there, and he's throwing a curse on you as soon as you drive in.
That's funny. I've been going there since I was a kid. I raced go-karts there. It was intimidating then, as that was the super speedway of go-karts back then when you were 8, 9 years old. As far as the Ken Massa team, it's there's nothing more you can ask for. Ken and his wife Janine, they provide us with everything we could possibly need with the team. From top to bottom, and then Ryan Stone and the entire pit crew and everybody on the team is just so dedicated and such diehard to be making sure we're successful. And I'm extremely fortunate the team has relocated to Connecticut since Ryan Stone came on board in 2018, and I'm based on Long Island, so I don't really get to the shop that often. I don't have to deal with the stresses of being there each and every night, and I do miss being a part of that. I try and get there as often as I can during the winter, but during race season, it's really tough with all the traveling that we do. And I'm a lucky guy that just gets to show up most of the weeks with his helmet and drive the car. And like I said, from top to bottom, everybody on the crew knows their position. From the engine guy to the guys doing the tires to the guys just getting the car ready from when it unloads out of the trailer, putting the axles in, warming the engine, putting the shocks in, all those things. It's just top to bottom. Everybody does their job, and they do their job really well. And then those same guys, really execute on pit road each and every time we come down, and usually they'll either maintain or most of the time gain us spots on pit road if we need them. So really fortunate. We got great sponsors as well, Phoenix Communications and Mark and Marie Langevin, everything they do for our team financially. They make things easier for Ken with when we need to go buy the next thing, the next shock, the next anything, next new trick part that's out. So we're really fortunate with our team, and that it shows when we're on the racetrack why we can be successful, because we have everything in place.
Justin, as someone who has started to become a fan of modifieds throughout the past couple months, watching all the Flow Racing highlights on YouTube as much as I can, for someone who has never seen a modified race or never attended, give them one reason why they should go to the next one.
They're exciting. They're open wheel cars, but we have big Nerf bars on them that we use to be aggressive with each other. It's just hard nosed racing, and once you get to meet some of the drivers, you'll realize that we're all just normal 9 to 5 guys. A lot of us just work a normal job during the day. We're just normal people. We're not stuck up race car drivers. A lot of us enjoy going and sitting at the autograph sessions and meeting people. And I've made some of my best friends from going to the racetrack, and I always look forward to meeting the new fans each and every week. And you're just not going to get a better form of racing. I think it's still one of the purest forms of racing. I think the drivers will all respect each other a lot, on and off the track, but we're going to race each other's guts out, on the track, and afterwards have a beer and can be friendly with each other. So it's one of the best series around. I mean, modified racing in general in New England is amazing, not just the modified tour. There's a lot of good places in New England you can watch a race, and you're always going to get a good one with the modifieds.
So let's talk a little bit about the 2023 season, Justin. You mentioned, obviously, two New England tracks, but caught you at Seekonk early in, I think it was June, and then followed that up in July with what I call the modified Daytona 500, because that is probably one of the best races of the year. Talk to us a little bit about some of the highlights from 2023. I know you came up a little short. We'll talk about Martinsville in a few, but let's talk a little bit about 2023 in general.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good year. We had 5 wins, 7 poles. I think we had almost 9 or 10 podium finishes. Really put together a really solid year. My guys executed really well all year. Last year, 2022, was kind of a tough one. Had some mechanical failures. Some weeks we didn't run good. Some weeks I didn't drive all that well, and just wasn't a great year. And we worked hard this year Ryan Stone did to minimize, and we did. We had zero mechanical failures, and really the cars were just on point each and every week. And we had a lot of speed consistently each and every week this year, and we were in position. Obviously, Ron, Silk, and I had a hell of a battle each and every week this year. I think we traded the points back and forth 5 or 6 times, and we were within 5 to 8 points of each other just about each and every week of the year. It was really a battle to be for the ages, I guess you could say. You know, I put myself in a bad position at Oswego, racing for second or third there, and got myself crashed with a lap car and kind of put us behind. And then the next week, Ron went out and had some bad luck and crashed on lap 1, and then again on the next restart, and we were right back in it. And then we battled hard again for the next couple of weeks, got into each other pretty good at Riverhead, and just racing our guts out. And then unfortunately for me, we were running second to Ron at the World Series up at Thompson, and late restart somehow just missed a shift and got it nearly into reverse instead of high, and ended up kind of basically costing myself a legitimate shot at the championship. Going into Martinsville just was too far back for a team like Ron's. They weren't gonna go in there and run 10th just on speed. They were gonna have to run the East, I think it was, and that's just not. They're going to do way better than that. They're a team that's top 2 team each and every week. So it made us a tough uphill climb. But unfortunately for me, I was the weak link this year a couple times and put myself in bad positions. But just try and come back next year and see if we can do better, or if I can do better. I know my team will be there. I just got to put together better races and smarter decisions late in races.
Well, just from my point of view, Justin, that last race at Martinsville, you did everything you could do. There's nothing else you could do. I mean, one spot short of winning, which, I mean, I think that could have gone either way too if some things played out differently. But coming in second, I mean that's just like motivation, right, for next year. So you're gonna just build off that, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we had a good car at Martinsville. I was joking that it's a shame Priest decided to show up for the one race of the year. Kind of put it to us, but we were obviously a really solid second place car, and I think we were just a little bit of an adjustment off of running with him a little better and maybe contending for that win. And obviously it would have been nice to cap the year off with the grandfather clock. But all in all, it was still a good run. There's 40 cars almost down there at that race, and the best of the best. Hirschman was there, Priest, Silk, all those good guys that win every race, it seems, in the Northeast, and we were rock solid. So as far as coming up a little short on the championship, yeah, it doesn't sit all that well with me, because I feel I was a weak link twice this year, and I kind of took 30 points right out of our hands. So I'm not taking anything away from Silk and their team. They were unbelievable this year as well. But if I just drive a little smarter, maybe we're talking about a 4th championship. But it just makes you work harder and try and come back next year and try and beat those guys.
Well, you got a big race next weekend, right? When is it? The 11th? You're gonna throw a whipping on people down there, or what?
I hope. I mean, we've we love racing Riverhead. The Islip 300 is becoming a pretty cool event. I think it's in its 7th or 8th year now, and they've moved it to November since COVID happened, and it's kind of got that end of season feel to it, and it's cool. So we just decided the other day that we're gonna run that event. I always love racing at home. It's 10 minutes from the house, and it's a nice easy commute for once for us, and it would be cool to win that race. We've come up short a couple times with some solid runs, but just never got that trophy. So it would be nice if we could possibly end the season on a high note. But they got a lot of good cars there that have run well weekly, and hopefully we can contend with them guys.
To put a bow on this interview, let's. I know you mentioned them already, but any sponsors, family, friends you want to thank for helping you get to the racetrack each week?
Yeah, for sure. Without Mark and Marie Langevin from Phoenix Communications and all their employees, we wouldn't be able to do it without them. They're a huge part of our team. We got Clearcom IT Solutions, Rob and his wife Laura, and Fury Race Cars, Robert Yates Racing Engines, all of our product sponsors. Obviously, Ken and Janine Massa with M3 Technologies, that's their company. And then just the whole pit crew and everybody, that Ryan Stone leads. Got a great, like I said, great team from top to bottom, and appreciate all their help, dedicating their time and volunteering their time all summer for 18 events was not easy. and hopefully they can regroup over the off season here. But like I said, we got one more shot at a win next week, and that'd be a nice way to wrap it up.
3-time NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour champion 2018, 2020, and 2021. Justin Bonsignore joining us here tonight on the show. Justin, appreciate the time, and like we always say, we'll see you at the racetrack real soon.
I appreciate you guys having me on. You have a good holiday season, and we'll see you at the track in the spring.
Thank you. Sounds good.